Ciao everyone, it's Marchettino and today I'm testing a spaceship and honestly, I'm not sure if my body is actually ready to handle all this power. This is the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. Oh! Porsche is a brand known for its long history and tradition, just think about the 911, but also about the innovations, so just think about the Cayenne. Back in the days, it was a model that made people and purists talk and discuss very much, but at the end of the day, it turned out to be a great success for the company, and today SUVs represent a big slice of sales for every car maker. Just consider that last year Porsche has built 280,000 cars and 192,000 of them were Cayenne and Macan combined. So why this kind of introduction? Well, the market is changing very quickly and now Porsche wants to join the market of the electric vehicles with this. And just like with the Cayenne, everyone's talking about it and purists are like, is it a real Porsche to drive? Well, let's find out. So guys, prior taking it for a test drive, let's show you quickly the outside of the Taycan. This press car I'm driving, it's finished Carrara white, but actually it looks like a very light shade of grey, which I really like. Black 21-inch, massive carbon ceramic brakes, 420mm discs. If you look at it, you can immediately tell this is a Porsche. It looks actually like a Panamera coming from the future. I like the way it looks. It doesn't make any sound at all, but trust me guys, this car truly grabs the attention. It's electric, which means you have extra space in the front, but once you open the trunk, you're like, oh, that's all. It looks like the trunk of a Lamborghini. This carries just 81 liters, and if we erase this plastic, we can actually see one of the two electric engines, one in the front axle and the other one in the rear axle. I really like this rear light going side by side. Hopefully in the back the trunk has more space, 366 liters. Door handles are integrated in the car, just look at this. Pretty cool. So, once you jump in, hopefully in the driver's side, you immediately feel like this is a Porsche. Build quality is very good, there's lots of screens actually, maybe too much in my honest opinion. And there's also another one here. Look at also this massive panoramic roof. Love it. I absolutely love the interior of this car. So, enough talking, let's drive. So guys, here starts our test drive. Everyone's wondering, how's the first full electric Porsche like to drive? So, first part of the video, we're gonna focus about the driving experience of the Taycan. In the second part, we're gonna focus on some other important elements of this driving experience, such as the real-world autonomy, charging time, as well as the maintenance. First impressions, I like to sit behind the wheel of this car. Driving position is very good, you're sitting very low, the ride quality is very high. First impressions, you truly feel like to be sitting behind the wheel of a Porsche. I like this digital display in front of me, but the thing is that the way I'm positioned right now, which is my ideal driving position, the upper part of the steering wheel is covering me, most part of the digital screen, so basically I cannot see the speed I'm driving, which is not a very good thing because with this car you can reach insane speed like this in a matter of seconds. So we have 5 different driving settings: range, normal, sport, sport plus and individual. Now we're driving in range. It's the setting designed to optimize the autonomy. As you can see, the Taycan is very aerodynamic. It has a lot of elements combined to increase the autonomy of the battery as much as possible. For example, this car features an optional heat pump, which basically it takes the heat generated by the powertrain to heat the cockpit. It's a smart solution, so you don't have to waste the heat generated by the powertrain, and also you don't use the aircon, so it's battery saved. So now let's use a bit of the battery. We have 59% left. Let's move straight to sport mode. And you know guys, this car is not really that light. Dry weight is about 2.3 tons, so it's a huge weight. But the good thing is that the batteries are on the floor of the car, which means that the center of gravity is very low, so you tend not to feel this weight very much. I mean, I'm driving around this winding road and the car feels actually very good. You don't really feel the weight very much. Of course, it's still a 2.3 ton, but the good thing is that Porsche has managed to hide this weight very well. Being an electric car, whenever you smash the foot on the throttle, you have immediately all the power and torque. And here, being the Turbo S, this is the top model. The power is seriously impressive. 761 brake horsepower, 1050 Newton meters of torque. It's stupidly quick. And of course, all the power is unleashed through all the 4 tires, otherwise you will be spinning all the time. And I'm not sure if you can see it through the camera, but the road actually is a little bit moist. I'm running on winter tires, so it's not really the best combination, but still the car is able to unleash all the power very safely. And actually Porsche has a smart solution for this car because it's very powerful, and here we have a 2-speed transmission. So basically you use the first gear at low speed, so you can use all the power of this car, and then the second gear engages at around 90 kilometers per hour. And Porsche has adopted this solution in order to be able to unleash all the power from the low until the high speed. Top speed is limited to 260 kilometers per hour, and trust me, you get to the top speed very quickly. Guys, so now let's engage Sport Plus mode. This setting is impressive. Sport is already good, but in Sport Plus you truly feel the changes. And now let's make a launch control. Oh. So in Sport Plus, the car feels truly enraged. The car gets even lower, the suspension is even stiffer. In Sport Plus, this car is truly stiff. It feels like a piece of marble. And can you hear this? In the other settings, the car is completely silent, but then when you engage Sport Plus, the car engages what is called electric sport sound. So basically, the car makes this kind of noise, which reminds me like a spaceship. It's a fake noise, of course, but I kinda like it. I think it's funny, and it makes even more sense that most modern cars with an internal combustion engine, just think about BMW, Audi. Most cars nowadays, I mean the sports ones, have an active sound generator. So basically today the internal combustion engines have so much restriction that with a stock exhaust, a street legal exhaust, they're not that loud anymore. So basically you feel an enhanced fake engine noise generated through the speakers. I really hate that. But this kind of fake but futuristic noise, I think it's kinda cool. It definitely makes more sense than a fake noise of an internal combustion engine. This is my honest opinion about it. One of the things you appreciate mostly in Sport Plus are the brakes, because the braking system on the Porsche Taycan Turbo S, it's truly massive. Here we have, hopefully, carbon ceramic brakes with 420 millimeters discs. They are simply huge. You hardly find a braking system this big on a road legal car. Behind the wheel of this car, you have to think to drive it in a different way from what you're used to. You have to keep in mind that it's very easy to accelerate seriously fast. I mean, this car goes to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 200 kilometers per hour in 9.6 seconds. Whenever you smash the foot on the throttle, you have an insane amount of power to deal with, and for example, going from 0 to 200, it's not the same thing as going from 200 to 0. Always keep in mind about the braking spaces, and also just remind yourself to hit up the brakes first, because when cold, the carbon ceramic brakes don't brake at all, and doing an insane acceleration then realize that the brakes don't brake very much, well, it's not very funny. the roads start to get less creepy, so let's turn the electronics off to see how's this car behave in these conditions. Woo! It's slippery. I'm doing electric slides. Even in these conditions, this car is able to offer an insane amount of grip. When the rail loses traction, you start to feel a lot of power going to the front, trying to keep you on the road. When you change direction quickly, you feel a little bit the massive weight on this car, but still, I think this car drives like a real Porsche. You also have the full steering wheels that around these hairpins really help you to move quickly. I used to drive around this mountain very often when I have some press cars to drive, and I think with this car I could seriously beat my own personal record. So guys, what about doing another launch control with this car? The noise it makes. The rear tires were actually spinning. Well, after all, 1050 Newton meters of torque, it's seriously impressive. So guys, I think we had a great time playing in Sport Plus. Now let's switch back to normal mode, because I think it's time to talk about the other aspects of this car. So the batteries combined have an output of 93 kilowatt, but the net output is 83. So basically you can do the math very easily talking about charging time. I've been using this car since 5 days. I'm returning this car later today after a full charge, obviously, and basically I've spent every day at least 1 hour in my local IKEA mall, because they have fast charging station at 50 kilowatt per hour. The problem, or at least here in Italy, we need more infrastructures, more charging station if you want to cover lots of miles with electric cars. Most of the charging station I found were charging at 7 or 11 kilowatt per hour, and you cannot deal with it with this kind of car. If you want to buy an electric vehicle, you must have your own domestic wall box to charge the car. So basically, at the end of the day, when you arrive home, you plug in the car and you charge it at about 7 or 11 kilowatt per hour, which is good at home. I mean, the car spends the night in the garage, so the morning after you have a full charge. Porsche claims a range with a full battery charge between 340 up to 470 kilometers. Of course, depending on the driving style, where you drive. I can tell you that in the real world, with a full charge, I was doing between 270 up to 350 kilometers. So using a full electric vehicle to cover lots of miles, even on the same day, I think Italy, it's not ready yet for this, but still, the way this car drives, it's simply amazing. I think it truly feels like a Porsche. And also, at least for once in a while, I'm using a press car, I mean a very powerful one, and I'm enjoying it without spending a lot of money to run it. With a full charge, I spend on the average between 32 to 40 euros. So basically 32 euros for about 300 kilometers with 760 brake horsepower. It's not that bad. I've always charged this car on 50 kilowatts per hour charging stations. There's even more powerful, but where are they? This car can actually recharge up to 270 kilowatts per hour, which means that you get a full charge in about 20 minutes, which is seriously good. I went to a local Porsche dealership to talk about it with the technicians, and they told me that basically the only maintenance that you have to do on the Taycan is the brakes. So once in a while you have to check the braking system, the suspensions. The only things you need to replace are the fluids, like the differential, the transmission. So it's not really that expensive to run, it's not cheap to buy. This being the top model, it starts at 191,000 euros plus options. And so I was wondering, who is the typical customer for the Taycan? So first thing, I think that if you buy a Taycan, this is not your only car you rely in your garage. This is not your daily driver. You always rely on a second car, maybe with an internal combustion engine. So I think that the Taycan is designed also to all those who want a Porsche, an innovative Porsche. And I'll be honest guys, I'm seriously impressed by this car. Those who appreciate this kind of vehicles, I think they will be truly impressed by this product. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!